This is the first part of Dogs from the Animals album, and if you've got your tab in front of you, which I hope you have, you can see that you can see from the title that it's taking us from the very beginning of the track to 3 minutes 43 into the song. Now, the first thing about this track, the whole of Dogs, is that all the guitars on this track are down-tuned by a full step, presumably just because Gilmour couldn't quite sing it in E minor. He wants to play E minor shapes, but he tunes his whole guitar down a full step. That means you need your electronic tuner, take your first string down until it becomes the note D. Take your second string down until it becomes A. Third string down till it becomes F. Fourth string down till it becomes C. Fifth string becomes G. And sixth string down to D. That means that all your normal chord shapes will work, but the whole guitar is one step lower than standard tuning. The first part of Dogs for the acoustic guitar part, which is what we're looking at here, is actually easier than you would think. Well, maybe that's pushing it a little bit. What we're going to find is that it's very regular. Once you've learnt the pattern repeats throughout the whole of the first part of Dogs. But the pattern itself does have some complexities in both left and right hand. There are only 4 chords. The first one is an E minor 9 chord. Now that's an E minor shape, and you'll need to use your first and second fingers. It's the F sharp on the first string 2nd fret, and it's the D on the 2nd string 3rd fret. That's the first chord. Let's look at the 4 chords before we come back and look at the right hand pattern. The second chord is the chord of C add 11, which is the note C on the 2nd string 1st fret, and with your 3rd finger the C note on the 5th string 3rd fret, and 4th string 3rd fret, not the 2nd that we would normally use for a C chord. Creates that wonderful spacey sounding chord, C add 11. The 3rd chord is an F sharp 7 sus 4. Bring the 1st finger up 1 fret to the 2nd fret on the 2nd string and drop in on the 4th and 3rd strings your ring and little finger. Now so far so good, but you must only strum those 4 strings. So I kill the other 2 by having my thumb resting on the 6th string, and I let my middle finger touch the 5th string. Not pressing it but touching it, so that I can strum freely, knowing that I'm only going to ring the 4 highest strings, because those 2 are dead. If you find it difficult to have one finger only muting and not pressing whilst the others are pressing, then you'll have to concentrate on the right hand only hitting the highest strings. Okay? Alright, now, final chord is C7 over F, but it's a typical example of a guitarist just taking an existing shape and moving it around the neck. Here he moves the shape we're already holding down 1 fret to get that amazing sounding chord. Okay, those are the 4 chords in Dogs, the first part of Dogs, and they go round regularly 4 bars at a time. 4 bars per chord, goes to the next chord, it has 4 bars, so does the following chord, so does the 4th one, and you come round again to the E minor 9 and start the whole sequence again. Getting into these chords isn't too difficult, except for the E minor 9. That'll take some practice, coming out of C7 over F, back into E minor 9. Just practice that change. Now the right hand is funky. I'm going to give you a standard pattern to follow, and again, as always, recognize that no guitarist plays exactly the same pattern all the way through. He will vary it a tiny bit. But there's no point in just going bar by bar saying exactly what he does on each bar, because it's all instinctive, it's a feel thing. It wants to be for you too, but we'll give you a standard pattern that you can either stick with or use as your basis and vary it a little as from time to time as you want to. Here's the pattern at speed. Now that was 1 bar. Here it is much slower. Our right hand is moving in our 16th note feel. 1 E-ander, 2 E-ander, 3 E-ander, 4 E-ander. Never let it break that rhythm, whether or not it's hitting the strings on any particular down or up. It mustn't lose that rhythm or you'll never get the feel of Dogs Down. Within that constantly moving right hand, our basic standard pattern, the one he comes back to all the time, is down, down, up, down, up. That's the first part of the bar. Let's do that again slowly. Down, down, up, down, up. The second part of the bar goes down, up, slap, down, slap, up. The slaps are important to the feel of Dogs. On other videos I've taught how to play the slaps, but if you haven't seen it before, this is the karate chop part of your right hand landing on the strings just before the pick comes down. So it's a slight twist of the wrist from that shape for strumming to that shape. And the pick only hits the bottom end of the chord, but it hits it on dead strings, completely dead strings. Down, up, slap, down, up, slap, up. So that the whole pattern is going down, down, up, down, up, slap, down, slap, up. Then bring it up to speed. That was 2 bars of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright? That's the key to the feel of Dogs. And believe it or not, that is actually the whole song, because you'll play that same pattern. But there are 5 sections of the first part of Dogs. They are all simply 4 bars of each of those chords going round. So you have the intro, which is 4 bars of each of the chords. Then you have verse 1, which is 4 bars of each of the chords. Then you have verse 2, surprise, surprise, it's 4 bars of each of the chords. Then you have the fantastic first guitar solo that we're going to look at on a separate video for this song. That, for the rhythm part, is 4 times around each of the chords. Then there's a little kind of end bit. No, then there's a third verse, 4 times around each of the chords. Then there's a kind of ending instrumental bit with a lot of Rick Wright's work on the keyboards. That's 4 times around each of the chords. And finally, at the very end, as it's about to go into the next section of the song, we simply hold an E minor chord for 2 bars, where each bar goes down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. That was 1 bar. Do that twice. Oh, where the second time you stop that E minor, as it's about to go into the famous harmonized guitar part. So right at the very end, 2 bars of E minor, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Hit the third one, stop it, let it ring across the 4th beat. In come the electric guitars with that wonderful harmonized part that will take us into Dogs Part 2, which of course we'll cover for you when the time comes.